Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series for cloud computing and with code RCS075, and this code is with respect to the syllabus prescribed by the AKTU University. So, we will be starting with the types of clouds today, and in types of clouds we will be covering the public cloud, private cloud, community cloud and hybrid cloud. Okay, so let us start with the public cloud. So, what is a public cloud? So, in the diagram from the diagram it is quite clear that the cloud with the public cloud, the cloud infrastructure and the cloud resources are being made available to the general public. Okay, so as the name suggests, public, so with the public cloud, this whole set of resources and the cloud infrastructure will be made available for the use to the general public. Okay, and this public cloud is actually owned by the organization which is actually selling the cloud services to the customers. So, the vendors who are actually providing the cloud services, so those vendors, those cloud providers will be the actual owner of the public clouds. Okay, and they will provide the services to the customers. Customers can rent the services like CPU or RAM or storage, like which we have also discovered in the previous session, that the cloud services could be in terms of the infrastructure, or it could be in terms of the software, or in terms of the storage. So, the customers can rent out all those services provided by the cloud service provider. So, this public cloud is actually managed by the cloud service provider. Okay, so with this public cloud, private cloud, community cloud and hybrid cloud, all these terms we have also seen these terms when we were actually discussing the NIST cloud computing infrastructure in the previous sessions, but here in today's lecture we will be trying to cover all these different types of clouds in detail. Okay, so in the diagram you can see the cloud consumers are actually accessing the cloud over the network. Okay, and with the help of the internet, the enterprise network and the consumers can access these public clouds. Okay, so cloud consumers can access the cloud from within the enterprise network or also from outside the network. So, public clouds are actually free and any people can use the services which are provided in the form of public cloud. Okay, so you people are using Google Drive facility, so it's an example of public cloud. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So, all the service management activities like managing security deployment, backup, reliability, reallocation and everything will be actually taken care of by the service provider of the cloud when we are talking in respect of the public clouds. Okay, and these public cloud provide all the services like the infrastructure, the software, the application as a service to the customers, and the companies which are actually providing the public cloud services are Google, Amazon. So, all these are the companies which are actually providing the public cloud services to the customers. So, all the cloud services will be managed by the third party cloud vendors. Okay, so public clouds are managed by the service providers. Okay, and as I have told you, Google Drive is one of the facility which is in terms of the public cloud. Okay, anybody could use it, it's free of cost up to a certain limit. Okay, but when you want to extend the functionality, then you have to pay more. So, these are the advantages of public cloud. So, public clouds are cost effective. Why they are cost effective? Because once the services are built, those services can be used with the large number of users. Okay, so you have once made the service, the vendors have once created the resources and the services for the use, and then it can be used by all the different types of people throughout the world with the help of the internet. Okay, so it is quite cost effective because it shares the same resources with large number of customers. That is why it is inexpensive. Okay, and next advantage is that it is reliable. So public cloud actually employs large number of resources from the different locations. Okay, and if any of the resources fail, the public cloud can employ another one. Okay, so it is reliable because there is a scope of change. Whenever something fails, the vendor could actually employ another service for that. Okay, so it is reliable. Next, flexibility. So flexibility is one of the important characteristic of cloud architecture and the cloud computing. Okay, so this public cloud is actually flexible. This public cloud can smoothly integrate with the private cloud, which gives customer a flexible approach. So customer can even collaborate with the private cloud even using the public cloud services and facilities. So it is quite flexible. You could rent out various different kinds of services. Okay, you could integrate your company's private cloud with the public cloud. So it is quite flexible. Next is location independence. So one of the important advantage of public cloud is the location independence. So public cloud services are actually delivered through the internet. So it ensures the location independence. The people sitting anywhere on any part of the world could access the cloud services provided by the vendor. Okay, so public cloud services are location independent. Next is utility style costing. So this public cloud is also based on pay per use model. Pay per use means that you have to pay only for those services which you are using, and when your requirement is not there for a particular kind of service, then you could withdraw that service. Okay, and you don't have to pay for that after that. So it is utility style costing. Whatever you will use, what utility you will use, you will just pay for that. And if in case in future if you require more resources or more services, then you could rent out even for the more services, and if you want to withdraw some of the services in the future, you can do that also. Okay, so it actually favors a utility style costing model. It favors a pay per use model. You just have to pay for what you are using. Okay, next is high scalability. So cloud resources are actually made available on demand from a pool of resources. And that is, they can be scaled down, they can be scaled up according to the requirement of the customers. Okay, so because whatever cloud resources the customer is going to use, so it will actually depend upon what are the services which are available first of all, and what is the requirement of the user. And if in case the user requires more in the future, if the business if a user is there who is starting his own company, but he don't have a proper infrastructure for that, then he could rent out all the infrastructure resources from the cloud. Okay, and if in case in future his business grows, then he can scale down the resources and the services. He can scale down, or he could even scale up the cloud resources and the services depending upon his requirement. So these are the advantages of the public cloud. Okay, so let's see the disadvantages now. So there are some of the disadvantages also. Low security, as in public cloud model, data is hosted off-site and resources are actually shared publicly. Therefore, it does not ensure higher level of security because everything is publicly shared. Okay, so there is lack of security, you could say, though it's not like there is not security at all. It's not like that. But when we talk about in case of public cloud, we talk about the security aspect, then everything is available publicly on the internet. So the security could be hampered, though it employs some of the security mechanism, but still it is vulnerable to security breaches. Okay. Next is, it is less customizable. Obviously, when you are actually cost effectively making a service to be used by the customer, then you are actually making such type of service so that various different kind of customers can use it. Okay. So you are creating a service so that everybody could use, so obviously it will be less customizable. But when we will be talking about the private cloud, then in private cloud the services are quite customizable, because those services and resources are made according to the requirement of the customer. Okay. So here it is less customizable. Okay. As we talk in the private cloud. Okay. So with comparison to the private cloud, it is less customizable, because vendor will also think of his own profit. He is freely making available all the resources and services to be used by the customers and the people publicly. So he will just create a single service and he want everybody to use it. So why would he customize it as per your requirement? If you want to get the customized service, then you could go for the private cloud. Okay. So these are the disadvantages of public cloud. Next is the private cloud. So as the name suggests, it is just opposite of the public cloud. Okay. So this private cloud gives a single cloud consumers organization the exclusive access to and the usage of the infrastructure and the computational resources. Okay. So the consumer organization, the people who are actually renting out the services, those people can actually exclusively access the services and the infrastructure and the resources which are provided by the vendors, by the cloud service providers. Okay. So it may be managed either by the cloud consumer organization, or it could be managed by a third party, and it may be hosted on the organization's premises. Okay. So the consumer organization who is actually going to use the cloud services, he could host all those services in his own premises. Okay. So in this diagram represents the same scenario when the private cloud is actually hosted on the organization premises, and this is called as on-site private cloud. Okay. So this diagram here is representing the on-site private cloud. You could see the private cloud inside the consumer enterprise network. Okay. So this is called as on-site private clouds, when the cloud services and is actually hosted inside the premises of the consumer organization, and when it is also managed there. Okay. So so this is the example of on-site private cloud. Okay. So it could even be managed by the third party also, the vendors, the suppliers, the cloud service providers could also manage it. Okay. But here it is the example of on-site private cloud. Okay. So as I have told you that the cloud services, private cloud services could be managed either by the cloud consumer organization, or by any third party, or by inside the it could be hosted inside the organization's premises, or it could even be outsourced to a hosting company. There will be a different hosting company which will be managing the private cloud. So that is called as outsourced private cloud. So we will try to understand that with the figure. Okay. So in this diagram you could see a cloud provider is there. Okay. So here is the private cloud which is made, which is customized according to the requirement of the customer. Okay. And here the cloud consumers are there, which are actually accessing the cloud from within the enterprise network. So this is the enterprise network, and the people are sitting there and they are making use of the private cloud. So here this private cloud is actually outsourced, it is being managed by the third party. Okay. So this situation is called as outsourced private cloud. So now you could compare it with the on-site private cloud. Here the private cloud is actually hosted inside the consumer enterprise network, into the consumers organization. Okay. So this is the on-site private cloud, and here this private cloud is actually hosted inside the cloud provider organization. So cloud provider is managing it, and the enterprise organization and the people sitting there in the enterprise, they are making use of the private cloud services. Okay. So this is the example of the outsourced private cloud. So private cloud is developed by the organization for their personal use. This point might be quite clear to you by now, because public cloud is actually providing the services publicly, okay, and those services are not customized. But if the organization requires some specific services related to its business, then the organization could go for the private cloud. So it is developed by the organization for their personal use, and it is not accessed by the public customer. So it is not freely available for the use of the public. Public cannot use it. Only the people which are who are the part of the organization, they can only use the private cloud. Okay, and this private cloud can be deployed by the administrator of the organization, and the access of the private cloud is restricted for their client and employees only. That is why it is called as private. Okay, and this private cloud processes on site servers. Okay, it processes whatever processing is being done, that processing is being done on the site servers, and it also supports on demand access provisioning and dynamic resource provisioning. So these are the terms which often comes when we talk about cloud computing. Okay, so this on demand access provisioning means whenever you demand, whenever you require access for a certain kind of resource, then that access will be granted to you on your demand. And dynamic resource provisioning means the resources which will be required by the employees, that is dynamic in nature. It means it will be changing. It's not like the people working and using the cloud services, they are actually using the same kind of resources and in same numbers. So that demand keeps on changing. So that is dynamic resource provisioning and on demand access provisioning. Okay, so the private cloud processes on site servers and it supports on demand access provisioning. That is why the cloud computing is flexible. The cloud services, using the cloud services is flexible, it is scalable. So that is why it favors on demand access provisioning and dynamic resource provisioning. Okay, and the security of the private cloud is more effective as compared to the public cloud, because it has high privacy, because it's for the specific organization. Okay, and it is accessed by the authorized users, and with the help of the internet facility, only the authorized legitimate users who are related to that organization for which the private cloud is made, only those people will be allowed to access the private cloud services. Okay, so let's see some of the advantages of private cloud. So one of the advantages, high security and the privacy. So private cloud operations are not available to general public, and resources are shared from different distinct pool of resources. Therefore it ensures high security and privacy. Okay, so it is more secure than the public cloud. Next is more control. While you are using the public cloud, you don't have any control over the working of the services and the resources which you were using, and over the management of all those services and the resources. But because the vendor is making freely available all those resources for the use for the public, but here in case of private cloud, you will be having the more control on the resources and the hardware, because it is accessed only within a specified organization, and it is customized according to a particular organization and a customer. Okay, Next is cost and energy efficient. So private clouds are cost and energy efficient because here resources are they are not as cost effective as resources in public cloud, but still their efficiency than public cloud is much higher, because they are specifically made for a particular type of business, for a particular type of organization. So obviously efficiency will be high. Okay, so when you talk about cost effective, so obviously it will be cost effective, but not as much as the public cloud, because when you are making use of the public cloud services, you are not providing any money for that. Okay, you are, those services which are freely available, you are making use of those services up to a certain limit. But here you are actually renting out, you are the services are customized according to your requirement. Okay, so it is not as cost effective as the public cloud, but still it is worth it, because ultimately you don't have to set up the infrastructure on your own in your own organization. You don't have to, if you are a startup company, you don't have to worry about the infrastructure, about the resources, about the CPU. That part could be handled by the cloud service provider, and you just have to you can just focus on your business. So that is the advantage, and for that reason it is cost effective. Okay, and obviously it is efficient because the services are customized according to your requirement. Okay, so these are the advantages of private cloud. Next, disadvantages. So disadvantages are restricted area of operation. As it is quite clear to you now by now that private cloud is only accessible locally, and it is very difficult to deploy it globally. So that is the one of the disadvantage, because it is locally being used by the people of the organization. So it has a restricted area of operation. High priced, so purchasing new hardware in order to fulfill the demand is costly transaction. So sometimes it is quite costly for the vendors to set up the whole environment of the private cloud for a particular organization or for a particular customer, because you have to purchase new hardware to meet the customer's requirement. So that is one of the disadvantage. Another is disadvantage is limited scalability. Why it is limited scalable? Because it could only be scaled within the capacity of internal hosted resources. So the only the internal hosted resources, for all those internal hosted resources only you could scale it down. And if you want to scale it beyond those resources, then it will encounter high price and high you will be requiring more extra setup for that. So there is limited scalability in this case when you are talking about the private cloud, but that is not the case in the public cloud. It you could scale down the services, public services. Okay, next is additional skills. Obviously, in order to maintain cloud deployment, the organization will require skilled expertise. Okay, so if you want to deploy it into your own organization, then obviously you will require some additional expertise, the people who know the functioning of the cloud environment. So you will be requiring all those people. So these are some of the disadvantages of the private cloud. Next, this table is actually representing the difference between the public cloud and the private cloud. So in terms of the technology, leverage and the ownership, the public clouds are owned by the service providers only. Okay, and the private clouds could be hosted inside the organization, as well as they can be owned by the individual provider, the individual organization also, and the cloud service provider can also set up that, or the third party could also manage that. Okay, next is management of provisioned resources. So, creating and managing the virtual machine instances within the proprietary infrastructure. So, the cloud service provider is actually creating and managing the virtual machines and the services and the managing all the resources inside his own premises. The vendors are doing it. Okay. So, this public clouds promote standardization, they preserves capital investment, and they provide application flexibility. Okay. So, customer can freely access all the different kinds of application, and customer is flexible enough to choose from any kind of services available on the public cloud. Next, the private cloud, client is managing everything. Some part client is managing, some part vendor is managing, but ultimately it is a private cloud, so client will decide finally what is going to happen, so he could choose. Okay. So, achieve customization. So, obviously the customization is possible with the private cloud, and it offers higher efficiency. Okay. Next, when we talk in terms of the workload distribution methods and the loading policies, then the public clouds can handle a workload without communication dependency. Okay. And it could distribute data and virtual machine resources freely, and it could search the workload if it is offloaded. If it is offload, then it could distribute that workload. Okay. While the private clouds handle workload dynamically, but can better balance the workload. It could better balance the workloads. Okay. And it could distribute data and the virtual machine resources as per the requirement and as per the number of people who are using the cloud service provider services at a time. Okay. So, as far as security and data privacy enforcement is concerned, the public clouds are publicly accessible through remote interface, whereas private cloud access is limited, and they provide pre-production testing, and they enforce data privacy and security policies. So, some of the examples are also shown here. So, the companies who are providing the public cloud services are Google App Engine is there, Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure. All these are the examples of the public cloud. Then private clouds, we have IBM RC2. Amazon is also providing some of the private cloud services. Google is also providing some of the so different products are there which are actually providing certain private clouds, which are not mentioned here, but you could research if you on the internet if you want to study it in detail. Okay. Next is the community cloud. So, we have seen public and private cloud so far. Now, we are actually focusing on the community cloud. So, as the name suggests, this cloud is actually a group of it will serve to a group of cloud consumers who have a similar mindset, who share the similar kind of thought structure, and who are actually working for a particular concept. Okay. So, community cloud serves a group of cloud consumers which have shared concerns, similar kind of interest, such as missions, objectives, security, privacy, and compliance policy, rather than serving a single organization as does a private cloud. So, private cloud was meant for a single kind of organization, but community cloud could serve a whole community. Okay. For example, suppose there is healthcare domain. Just take the example of healthcare domain. So, people who are into healthcare sector, the organization who are working. So, a community cloud is made for all those people who are in the healthcare sector. So, they can use the resources specifically. Community cloud is made which will be having the resources and the services related to healthcare. So, the organizations which are into businesses which are into healthcare sector, they can make use of all those cloud services. Okay. So, it is similar to private clouds. A community cloud may be managed by the organization or by a third party, and it may be implemented on customer premises, that is on-site community cloud. So, similarly there is on-site community cloud which is implemented on the customer's premises, and it could even be outsourced to a hosting company. So, that is called as outsourced community cloud. Okay, so I'll be showing you the on-site community cloud, which will be comprising of number of participant organization, where the cloud consumer can access the local cloud resources and also the resources of other participating organization through the connections between the associate organizations. So you could see it in this particular diagram. So here it is the on-site community cloud, so which is managed inside the organization, okay, and inside the organization's community, and the organization A or B or C can make use of this local cloud, okay, and various other organization can also consume these cloud resources, okay. So that's why it is called as community cloud, because the organization which are there in that community, they can make use of all those services provided by the community cloud, as I have given you the example of the health sector. So here different organizations can use it, okay. So this is the example of outsourced community cloud. So here the server side is outsourced to a hosting company, and here the outsourced cloud builds its infrastructure off premise, and it serves a set of organizations that request and consume cloud services. So this is the diagram for the outsourced community cloud. So like there was outsourced private clouds, similarly here we have outsourced community cloud. Similarly, it is hosted inside by the third party or by the cloud vendor, and different organizations can use it, okay. So these are the benefits of these community clouds: openness, community, graceful failures, convenience and control, and environmental sustainability. So openness, because we are removing the dependency on cloud vendors, because community clouds are providing the systems and the operations which are specific to a particular kind of community, and people can discuss inside that community, and they could come out for different solutions for a specific kind of domain and a problem. Community, it is being based on a collective that provides resources and services, therefore the infrastructure turns out to be more scalable, because the system can grow simply by expanding its user base, okay. And next is the graceful failure. Since there is no single provider or vendor in control of the infrastructure, there is no single point of failure, okay. So only a particular vendor will not be held responsible for a failure, okay. Convenience and control. So within a community cloud, there is no conflict between the convenience and control, because the cloud is being shared and it is owned by the community, which makes all the decisions through a collective process, okay. Next is environmental sustainability. So the community cloud is supposed to have a smaller carbon footprint, because it harnesses underutilized resources, okay. So their resources are there in the community, and the people from that community are using it. So it tends to be more organic by growing and shrinking in a symbiotic relationship to support the demand of the community, which in turn sustains it, okay. So that is why it is sustainable, okay. But there are some issues also, that all the data is located at one place, so one must be careful in storing data in community cloud, because it might be accessible by the others. So you have to take care of that, because it's not a private cloud, it's a community cloud. Next is, it is also challenging to allocate responsibilities of governance, security, and cost among the organization. So that is also one of the issue. So today we have seen the public cloud, private cloud, and the community cloud. Hybrid cloud is the composition of, let's cover it also. How hybrid cloud is a composition of two or more clouds. So it could be a combination of a public cloud, private cloud, public cloud, private cloud, or community cloud, or it could be the combination of various different kinds of clouds, okay. So it depends. So hybrid means the combination of various different types of clouds. So this hybrid cloud allows enterprise to exploit existing IT infrastructures, and it maintains sensitive information within the premises, and it naturally grows and shrinks by provisioning external resources and releasing them whenever they are no longer needed. So it's a very good option. Organization could go for the hybrid cloud, which is a combination of various different kinds of clouds. So here you could see the hybrid cloud could be a combination of on-site private cloud or outsourced community cloud, or it could be a combination of on-site community cloud or outsourced private cloud, or it could be a combination of public clouds but outsourced community cloud or on-site private cloud, or so on. So this is how the hybrid clouds could be made, and it could be used within the organization. Okay, so it also have certain benefits and disadvantages. So these are the benefits. Hybrid clouds are scalable, they are flexible, they are cost efficient, and security is high in case of hybrid clouds, because as compared to public cloud, because there are public private cloud also incorporated in the hybrid cloud, so it ensures more security. Okay, disadvantages are related to the network issues, because you know everything will be complex when you are incorporating different kinds of clouds. Okay, so it will be a cloud, it will be a quite complex network. Security compliance, it is necessary to ensure that cloud services are compliant with security policies of the organization. You have to make sure for that. Infrastructure dependency, the hybrid cloud model is dependent on internal IT infrastructure, therefore it is necessary to ensure the redundancy across the data centers. So this is hybrid cloud. So this is this much only from my side. Thank you so much.